Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today, we got Brandon.
Hello,
We're here to talk about games and things.
games and things.
Nothing terribly new this week. Just kind of, I guess, update on what we've been playing and update on news.
Yeah.
Ready to get into it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll go first, even though mine's an old game. You talked about yours last week, so
Yep, go
it's
for it.
not as old. So, so I was really itching to play something new this weekend, and I kind of waffled back and forth on a bunch of different things. But I ended up settling with, in my usual trend, going to play something related to the next game I plan on buying.
I know where this is going.
Well, it should. If you're looking at the Google Doc, it should be spelled right out for you.
Yep.
So anyway, the next game I'm buying is, fuck's that new Zelda game called? Something Echoes of Wisdom, something like that. I don't even remember. Yeah, somewhere in that general vicinity. And so I was like, oh, well, let me return to the Link's Awakening remake. So that's what I did. So yeah, Link's Awakening, A, one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. B, also super relevant because it seems to be the same engine and models and things that they used for that. So, which I noticed even more having seen a trailer after having played Link's Awakening, the remake again, because I'm like, oh, there's I'm like, I can look at some of those models. I'm like, yep, I remember this very obscure monster model, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting what they're doing with that game because they really did just take like Link's Awakening remake, slap on like a new environment and then some Breath of the Wild mechanics, and they're like, here you go. And I was like, yeah, okay. But anyways, Link's Awakening, the remake. So I think up front, and I know this is my third time playing this game, the remake. So I am sure we've probably treaded on these points in the past, but I'm just going to spell them out again, just because obviously there's been a lot of time in between the last time I played this game and now. So game, I think from a artistic standpoint, looks fantastic. I really love that kind of claymation look that they have for this game. I think it looks great. I wish the frame rate didn't suck. And that's it. I know how many times we talk about frame rate. If I say it sucks, it's really bad because that means it's
that's wild. Hold on. Wait. What game is this again?
Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda, the remake for the Switch.
Oh my god, is the frame rate really that bad?
Yeah, it sucks. It's super notable a lot of the time.
Oh my god, you're noticing it.
Yeah, a lot. Like, it's very weird. And I also think it's really weird that they didn't go through and like fix it. It's also weird too because it's not, how does it's not like where, you know, if you have like really bad slowdown and it really chugs, like it doesn't get there, but it's very clear that it doesn't ever run at a constant frame rate. Like it seems like it just kind of stutters a lot.
If I recall correctly, it uses Unity, doesn't it?
It might. It's got that kind of look to it.
I'd have to double check. What engine does Link's Awakening remake use?
I mean, if there is no answer, it's Nintendo. It might just
maybe
one of their engines.
Yeah. It looks like it's Unity, but I guess not.
Yeah. But like I said, art style, like the artistic direction for the game, spot on. Like I love it. Like it's like in my mind, like it is a great representation of that world. It's, for me, like this is my first Zelda game, like way back when. So like I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, and I spent a lot of time imagining what this world looks like. So, and it is really great to kind of see it like fully animated and kind of all those different things to it. They also did add like, and I'm sure I remember this from before, but just kind of nice remembering again, like a lot of nice quality of life improvements. Like there's more warp points. The original, it only had it had one that you could use with the ocarina, and then there were some other warp points that were like strewn about, but you had to like go and walk to them. They weren't always like very accessible. This one makes us the ocarina can take you to any of the warp points that are uncovered during the course of the game. So that's great. I mean, I would really consider this kind of the best version of this game. The only thing that's really missing is the DX version for the Game Boy Color. Had that photographer that would come up and take pictures every once in a while. That's gone. They replaced it with that kind of dungeon maker thing, which I don't know. I've spent about 30 seconds total in it, and that's about all I could care to do. And I think that's through all of my playthroughs, not just this one. I think this one
Mm,
I just walked in there and I was like, all right, good day, and then walked away. Um, yeah, but this I would say is the definitive edition. Like it works really well. There's lots of nice quality of life improvements. They orchestrated most of the music, which I think is great.
mm,
Um, I think that the ending, the way that they did the credits theme for this game, and I remember even talking about this in Game of the Year. I just love it because they pulled in some of the old Game Boy sounds
mhm.
and mixed them in with like the orchestrated credits, and it's so reminiscent of the original while still being so updated and modern. Like I really enjoy that. Um, I think too it's in the grand scheme of Zelda games, this one does have has some weird kind of quirks in
What
terms
the
of the
fuck?
gameplay and
I'm
progression.
watching a thing of its performance.
Yeah,
It drops from 60 straight to 30, and then even below it, just
yeah,
when it feels like it.
yeah. It's really no rhyme or reason, and it makes no sense too because like a lot of the screens are like static. Like it's not like it's these huge wide open areas. Like it
Hmm.
still kind of keeps you in those boxes, very similar to the Game Boy version. So it's not like you need to load an immense amount of stuff. But I don't know what they did. They messed up something. So and it looks like even from what I've seen, like the new one doesn't have that issue. So obviously it seems like whatever they did seem to have
Well,
addressed
I,
that.
I think Nintendo's gotten better at hiding that issue for their first party games. So let's wait till we actually have it in hand before we make that decision.
What do you mean
Because
by hiding it?
a lot of the okay, so for instance, I'm watching this video right now that's showing off the frame rate
Mhm.
of the game you're playing right now,
Yeah.
right? There are some bits and bobs and places where it is just a solid 60, but that is few and far between.
Yeah.
Uh,
Generally
I
better in dungeons, I've noticed. It's the
So if you
overworld that
take
seems to have the worst.
footage from dungeons or footage from specific areas that don't have those problems, and you
Mhm.
put that forward as your footage that you're showing off when you're showing your new game, i.e., the Zelda game that's coming out, then that's what I mean by being able to hide the fact that they have those issues. You understand what I'm saying now?
Oh no, I get what you're saying there, but I mean, I will say that like I've seen
Case in
more,
point, Pokemon.
huh?
Pokemon, the two newest Pokemon games.
Yeah.
If you like look at the like trailers and like footage for
Hmm.
those, like that is not how the game runs
No, I mean I get
when
that,
you're
but
playing the
I'm also
game.
saying, but what I'm trying to say is
Yeah,
they had I think they gave people what hour one somewhere between an hour and 3 hours demo, like so
yeah.
they've had like hands on um with the media, and at
But
least from the footage I saw from that, it
I
does
was gonna
not
say,
seem to have the
how
same
many
issues.
Nintendo gamers are gonna tell you this has an issue?
I know, but I'm saying I've seen their footage, so
Mm,
it doesn't look like it has the same issue that like I've seen with my own gameplay. Um,
I see. I
that's
see.
my comparison. Granted,
Yeah, that
it's a
makes more
week
sense.
away. We'll see more when it's out because obviously, certain sections, like you're saying, may not have that same issue. Might be an issue, in certain areas, but
Yeah.
I'd say at least so far, it looks promising that they've addressed this issue up front. Like it doesn't look like it's going to have that same thing right up front, but we'll see. I'm hopeful. Um, and I think too, I feel like they would have to with a different kind of mechanics because if they were rolling into that with these mechanics with that kind of frame rate, I feel like they would have issues, just instantly. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. It comes out next Friday, I think the 26th. So
Mm-mm.
should be coming up. But yeah, so I love Link's Awakening. I can blitz through this game pretty quickly. So actually, I finished it like just over the weekend. It really doesn't take me too long to get through the dungeons because I usually know what I'm doing. I was like, nope, not fucking around with secret seashells this time. Good day. I was like, I'm just gonna blitz these monsters and get on. Other nice things that they did add in this too, they added bottles. The original didn't have bottles, so you can actually collect fairies and use them for later. And they also made it so there is kind of like a life saving potion kind of thing if you run out of hearts. It previously was only available at one place and you had to pay like a decent cost for it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it will randomly show up in treasures and like dungeons and stuff, which is
Okay.
helpful. Yeah. Um, but overall, it's a really good remake. I do really enjoy it a lot. They had like a really a nice amount of touch ups and quality of life stuff to make this. Like I said, I would consider it the definitive edition because I don't think it plays so closely to the original. Like it doesn't seem like they made any big changes in terms of like progression and stuff like that. Usually things are just kind of more streamlined and things like that. So it works really well. Did you play through the remake? I can't remember.
Nope, I have not played it yet.
Yeah,
One
Nick
day.
was the only one. I don't think Nick played it either. Yeah, I like it a lot. Like I said, I think it is really good. I just wish that they would fix that frame rate a little bit. But maybe it's something that will run better on the new Switch. Who knows? We have no clue how that's going to go. And in terms of that's what I've been playing, that's it. The only other thing I could talk about, and I forgot about this last week, I did see the new Beetlejuice movie.
Oh, how'd you like it?
I liked it. Did you like Beetlejuice?
I do. I like the original quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, the original is one of my favorites. And I didn't realize it was coming out in this month. I thought it was next month for some reason.
You know what one of my favorite lines from that movie is?
Which one?
When he honks his dick and goes, nice fucking
model. Yeah, that's a classic.
That's such a good line. It's such a good line.
Yeah. And then they're like, why is this movie like PG?
Yeah, well, they got away with a lot more back then.
Yeah. No, it did. It was really funny. Yeah, no, the movie is fantastic. I love the art style. I kind of love the Tim Burton aesthetic. Yeah. I didn't realize that was kind of like his second major movie.
Tim Burton.
No, it is. But I didn't realize that was really like Tim Burton's like second major movie. Like he was still pretty relatively unknown. And I guess that movie was considered like pretty high risk at that time. So it is pretty interesting.
I still love that movie to this day.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is a great film.
It is. I think
I haven't watched the second one yet because I've heard mixed things, and also I don't go to theaters anymore, so
this is the first real movie I've seen in theaters since at least before the pandemic. I think I've only been to the theater one other time, and it was because they had Clue there.
I think it'd have to be something incredibly special for me to go to a theater now. It's ridiculous. At least over here, we have one theater chain that has a monopoly on all theaters. So they own literally all the theaters in our town and everything. Yeah. And because of that, like one ticket is like $30. So like, I'm not doing that. It's as simple as that. It's not happening. Yeah. I'm not doing it.
Well, this one wasn't too bad. We did a matinee, and we were surprised how cheap the tickets were because for both of our tickets, it only came to $18. And we're like, oh, that's not bad at all. Because I think I was expecting like $30. But then obviously they get you on food, and we ended up spending $40 on food. We spent double on, and it was literally just 2 bags of popcorn, 2 drinks. That was it, $40 compared to $18 for our tickets. This is crazy. Yeah, and we tried. There's a new theater in our area. It's a chain. It's not like a super common one, but they do like you can order from your phone, and it's not just like normal concession stand stuff. They do like meals and things too, like burgers and kind of like finger foods and things. I was like, oh, that would be kind of neat. Not what I expected at all. I was actually kind of disappointed with it. It took them like 40 minutes just to bring us popcorn and soda. And like I could have just walked to any concession. I could have probably walked to the nearest Regal cinemas and gotten popcorn faster than they had brought it to us. So I'm like, well, what's the point of this? Another thing I didn't really expect was how annoying it is to have everyone in the theater having food, because that's like the appeal. And so you have to deal with like the guy next to me is like crinkling around with like his ketchup packets and all this shit. And I'm like, I probably would just have rather waited until I was home to just watch this movie instead of going to theaters. I really don't care for theaters that much to go see it. Anything in theaters, but DJ wanted to see it, so I was like, sure. But that said, I would say the movie was probably kind of what you expected. I would say, in the grand scheme of things, more good than bad, but not so great that I'd be like, yeah, you got to go see this. It's the best sequel you could ever imagine. Like, it's a nostalgia train. They hit some great moments, but they definitely have some weird, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, some weird, like, story threads. Like, they really should have cut things down.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, a lot of stories just kind of start and then just peter off, and like nothing happens to them, essentially.
Yeah, the big story, the big kind of story that you expect to be kind of the carrying line through the movie is really like a nothing burger, and it is just kind of dropped as fast as it starts. And then there's all these other things, and I'm like, if you just picked one and focused on it, this would have been great. But you got like this going on and this going on and this going on. But that said, really hits on this nostalgia really well. Like they do really do a good job of hitting a lot of those story beats that were like really good. I think they did a reasonable job at addressing why they didn't bring the dad back in this movie. Because without addressing it directly, they were very clearly not going to have him back. So they needed to write him off, and I thought they did it in a fun way. So, yeah, there's that, and then obviously, Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder are like national treasures, and they're great. So always good seeing them back together again. But yeah, I would say overall I liked it. I wouldn't consider it like amazing, but I would say it's worth watching. Probably when you're home, as opposed to I would say you don't necessarily need to go. It's not that great. I would be like, yeah, you got to go see this in theaters.
I'm like looking at this right now, right, and a lot of showings. We got 25% off normal movie ticket prices, which lands it at $15. No. See, I don't understand like what's going on here because it looks like it's done by like a movie by movie basis. Not even like I could go to one movie and it's not even like the screens that it's on. Like for instance, here's 25% off a showing of Beetlejuice at 3:30 p.m. Right? Let's go to that, right?
Yeah.
That ticket is, let's just go like there. And that ticket is $11.89. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, more reasonable.
But like, I could also go at 2:30, which is an hour earlier, and it's $10.09.
Random.
And then, like, some movies even have these things that say like excluded from something, and like, I don't fucking know. Some of them I click and it's like $15-$20 for a ticket, and it's not the opening night. Like for instance, Alien Romulus, which is I've heard is really fucking good, and I really want to see. I can go to the same like 1:45, 2:45 movie showing time, and it's like $15.
Yeah, it's probably because they still think that people want to go see that one, but it must be they just discount them when they're.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, strange. Although, as much as I just talk shit about theaters, I forgot I already agreed to see another movie in theaters next month. So I will. DJ really wants to see the Terrifier 3 for his birthday.
Oh, I want to see it so bad too.
Yeah,
it should be on streaming services, though, right?
I mean, we'll eventually, but I'm
no,
sure
no. The thing about the Terrifier movies is they release day and date on streaming services, but it's only a specific streaming service.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Streaming. Let's see what we got.
Although it may not now because it's so popular. They might give it a little more theater time.
It will be streaming. This is a good question. I don't know. I do not know what they're doing with this one actually.
Yeah, so they might be waiting a little longer for it then maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with this one. I do want to see it though. I've seen the first and the second one.
Yeah,
and I saw the second one the night it came out. So
yeah, I think it comes out the week before his birthday. So I think our plan is just to see it the next week because his birthday's on the 13th of October. So
comes out the 11th. Comes out the 11th.
Oh, so it is that. So yeah, I guess we are seeing it opening weekend then. We're going to see it on Sunday then instead.
You saw the other two, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think of them?
I liked them. I thought they were good.
All right, here we go. Which is better?
The first one or the second one?
Yep.
I think I like the second one better, if I remember.
I think I like the first one more. I thought the first one was more gritty and like just different, and then the second one became kind of like, oh, he's back from the dead, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think for me,
I did like a lot the part in the second movie where he's just annoying the people in the shopping mall in that like Halloween store. He's just pretending to be a wax figure and fucking with everyone in that shop. He's not even tormenting them or anything. He's just fucking around just to be an asshole, and it's really funny. I liked that entire like whole thing.
I can't remember. I probably told you this last time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold that thought. I'm gonna come back to that thought in just 1 second. So I'm just gonna finish what I was gonna say before I finish it. Just kind of address your first point. No, I think I like the second one better because I saw that first out of the two movies, and I saw the first one afterwards. So for me, the first one was just kind of more of the same as the second one, as opposed to the other way around. But anyways, so that magic shop or the Halloween shop.
Yeah.
So one of our friends, we watched the movie with her at our house, and she's like, she gets to that scene and she's like, that's my uncle's Halloween shop. We're like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's my uncle's Halloween shop in New York City. Like that's literally that was his. He just sold it, within like a couple of years or whatever. And when we did our Halloween stuff in the past, we have what is it? We would borrow like Halloween props from her, like different things, and those are from her uncle because her uncle had all these Halloween props from his Halloween shop. But yeah, she's like, yeah, that like that's where it is. Like she's like, I know it. I was like, yeah, I thought that's really cool. Totally random. Like, what are the odds? But yeah, no, it looks like it's really good. And I'm excited for the third one. I don't know. I don't. Horror movies never get me so excited. I'm like, I gotta see this in theaters. But
I love horror movies. I love them so much.
I do like
I
them
love
too,
horror movies in the house because it's got that feel where it's like you're watching a horror movie and then like you got the creaking of something or like the wind blowing outside or whatever, and it just makes it better.
Yeah, and plus usually when you're in a theater, those rooms are crowded. Like it's not like
and people don't like respect horror films and be like, bitch, he behind you, and it's like I want to fucking stab you.
Yeah, very very annoying. I agree, and that's kind of one of my always annoyances with the with those kind of seeing things. So I don't know. Anyways, that's really all I think I have to talk about today. So
okay,
yeah. So you've been playing.
All right. So I was playing Astro Bot still, but I finished it 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I mean, I 100% finished it 2 days ago. I have nothing left to do. I've finished the entire game. So here's some thoughts on the game. I still think this game is fucking excellent. I really appreciated the final stage, which kind of did like the final stage you get in like a Mario game, like think Odyssey with its, I don't know, did they call it Star Road or Champions, whatever the fuck it was. You know what I'm talking about, right? That one really long stage that's very hard and everything that you get at the end of the game. They did that in Astro Bot also, and it was very good. It was very well made. It really took everything you've already learned about the game and was kind of like, all right, now put it to action. Show us what you've learned. Show us that you can do this all in one go. And it was good. It was good. Took me like an hour to finish that one stage because I was kind of completely crashing out at that point. But I do think that it was a good stage. I think if I would have just like used my head instead, I probably would have got it after like a few tries. But it doesn't matter. Either way, great game. Absolutely loved that game. And that's kind of like one of the main things I wanted to talk about real quick is that game made me want to play a lot of the other games that were in that game. So, for instance, a few of the games that did pop up, I actually showed you one, and I don't know if you replied back to it, right? I showed you the Soul Reaver and Blood Omen.
Oh, is that what those screenshots were?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was a Soul Reaver and Blood Omen and Astro Bot. If you look at them now, you can see both of them. But it was fucking cool. I thought it was really neat. There's a lot of games there in that game that were represented that I haven't seen in a long time, such as like Patapon and Puppeteer, which I've mentioned before, I believe.
Oh yeah, I haven't thought about Puppeteer in a long time.
Yeah. There was a ton of Astrobots that were from long dead series that made me think, wow, I do really like this. I do really want to go back and play some of these other series because I'm being reminded of them. So I think what Astrobot has done the most is made me want to play other series that were mentioned in Astro Bot, but I also do think it's probably, like I said before, and now that I've finished it, I stick by it. It's the best platformer I've played since Mario Galaxy 2. It's that good. It is fantastic. Everything about it is. Everything from the different references to the multiple like little nods to other kinds of games. Like they had all sorts of games in there. Like they had Concrete Genie. Like, do you remember that game?
No, I don't even know what it is.
It was a game made by, I think, Media Molecule about a guy who gets a magical paintbrush who finds a way to defeat his bullies through non-confrontational ways
Okay.
and understanding his feelings or something. I don't remember what company made it, but it's a Sony first-party game that existed towards the end of the PS4 that, like, no one played. And it was in this game. So, like, you know, there's some crazy shit that was in here, and I was like, wow, fucking Team Asobi, the people that made Astro Bot, they remember more Sony games than Sony themselves. And another like really cool element of this game was every world that you play at the end of the world would have a final stage for that world based off of different properties. So, for instance, the first world, you finished it and beat the boss of that world, and the next thing that you unlocked was a stage entirely themed around Ape Escape. And that shit was fucking cool. And when I was playing that, I was just thinking to myself, man, I hope they just give Asobi free reign to like make new or remake old games that they are like, you know, harkening back to in Astro Bot, because they clearly care about these properties. Like they clearly care about these properties when they go far enough to like make one-off stages dedicated to those games, and they feel like those games, and you're like, oh, okay, this is fucking cool. Like for instance, I think it's World 2, might be World 3, but either way, final level of that is a Loco Roco level where you actually have to move the controller around to control your Astro Bot who turns into a Loco Roco, and you play through like an entire stage based off of that game. And it works so incredibly well that it's like, holy shit, I would play an entire game themed around this. I literally would, because it feels so good to play. And I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, you know, Sony recently complained about being like, oh, we don't have enough IPs to be able to make games, blah, 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 blah. It's like, they do. They just refuse to acknowledge them. But you know who just acknowledged like every single one of them ever? I think Team Asobi acknowledged at least like 200 different IPs that Sony has had in the past. Let them make those games. Legitimately, let them make those games. I feel like they could do a way better version than what some of the other teams Sony has working under them right now can do. And because of that, I really want to see this team that did Astro Bot succeed elsewhere. Like, legitimately. I want to see them make games other than Astro Bot. I want to have them to be given free reign to do so. Like, I do think this team could do some incredible things because they seem to at least understand the general idea of what made those old games fun and was able to recreate them in Astro Bot in a way that made me be like, yeah, those games were fun as fuck. I wish we could play another one of them. And when I come away thinking that, they've done their job successfully, because they like, Astro Bot is supposed to be a game that's celebrating past Sony IPs and this, that, and the other, and glorifying them and praising them and showing, you know, Sony did have some really good games back in the day.
Yeah.
And I felt that way throughout this entire game. I was smiling ear to ear many times when I did things like a Shadow of the Colossus stage, and when they had elements like all that in it, and or when I like unlocked characters from Gravity Rush. All of it's fucking cool. It's so good, and they treated like all of the IPs that Sony refuses to treat with respect. And because of that, I was just like, damn, I want these people to like go far. I want them to be able to do what they want to do. I don't want them to have what every other Sony team has had happen to them, where they're like, all right, no, not just that. That's a good one. That's a good joke. But what I was going to say is where they make one really good game, it does really well, and then Sony looks at them and says, you're making this until the end of time. I don't want that to happen. I really want these people to be able to spread out and make different kind of titles, because they showed that they have the capability to do so in a lot of these stages and with a lot of these elements of Astro Bot, and they really can. I don't want this team to be relegated to just make Astro Bot games. I think they could make Ratchet and Clank, where they're not going to because that's Insomniac. So let's go Jack and Dexter, because no one's making that anymore. They could do something like that. They could make Medieval 2, remake that. They could do another Ape Escape. They could do Loco Roco. They could do all these different kinds of games that they prove that they definitely have the capability of, messing with doing things. Or they could do like even just like a spin-off game that like kind of glorifies all of them together, similar to like WarioWare, but with Sony properties. They could do any of these things, but we all know Sony's not going to do anything except be like, now you make Astro Bot until the end of time. But I really wish they would open their eyes and not be fucking idiots. That's what I wish. And I'm afraid that might not happen because it is Sony.
Yeah, hopefully it sells well enough for even to get to that point of consideration first.
Yeah, I heard that the physical releases in Japan, at least, was only 25,000, which is not very good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, especially for Japan. Like that seems like that's more up their alley. Yeah.
I do feel like right now, like taking the numbers from Japan for anything is kind of disingenuous, because unless it's mobile, they don't really care, and you're not gonna get mobile PlayStation 5. So, Yeah.
I don't know. They do have that. What is it? The PlayStation?
That is not the same thing.
No, I agree. But yeah, hopefully it sells well. Hopefully it gets I mean, I probably at least should get like a sequel within a reasonable time frame.
This is the third. This is the third Astro Bot game.
Well, then I guess they're doing it until the end of time. You already answered your own question.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying I wish they didn't have them doing that. This is the third Astro Bot game, though. The first one was VR. The second one was a pack-in title with the PS5, which is still one of the best PS5 games. And this is now taking its place. Though this is better than the pack-in title, obviously.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, it definitely is. But I don't know, man. I loved this game. Like, I really enjoyed this game a lot. And it was one of those games where it was like I finished and I was like, damn it, I want to play more. But it doesn't exist. So now I'm just kind of like, I'm sad. Now I gotta just wait until my next game that I'm like super looking forward to comes out. Which is not until November. So
I know it's always rough when you have those games where they're so satisfying. Or like, I just don't want.
I never platinum games. I platinumed this. I got all the trophies even. That's insane.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I loved this game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Put it on the list of great games that came out this year. It goes up there, right at the top.
Okay, will do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else to say on it?
No, just it's great. It's a great game.
All right. You ready to move on to news?
Yes.
Oh, news, yeah. Yeah.
So I was originally going to talk about some of the stuff that Digital Foundry talked about yesterday about the PS5 Pro now that they've looked more in depth with it, which is kind of crazy now and kind of proves some of the information that we were told about the PS5 Pro to already be lies.
Oh, really?
Before it's even released. So, for instance, they were able to get the actual resolution that one of the PS5 Pro Enhanced games was running at, and it is 832p.
Very oddly specific.
That is less than 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
And it's required to run at that to get the 60 FPS that they were looking at. So PSSR does all the rest to upscale it to 4K, but its internal resolution is very low, which a lot of people then started being like, wait, what? Hold up. That's what? There was some other information that people looked into, looking at the chipset and this, that, and the other stuff, it looks like the PS5 Pro is like a $400, possibly $500 worth of parts console that's being upsold to $700. That's just all I'll say about that. I'll just leave that at that. There was a few other things I wanted to talk about though that didn't have to do with the PS5 Pro, but I think that information right there is enough for right now until we have more info to go by, because I don't want to give too much stuff without having 100% clarification and more information from other people.
Yeah,
so
seems reasonable.
So there is that. It's not looking good though right now. That's one of the main takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see more once it's out and about.
Mm-hmm.
It would be disappointing if they're just using all that extra processing power just for upscaling.
The AI upscaling, yeah, and it's looking like a lot of that is what will end up being done potentially. But we gotta wait and see some more stuff, that sort of thing. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, have you seen or do you know who Justin Wong is?
Give me a clue, because I'm pretty sure I do.
Street Fighter guy, like one of the most decorated people in esports when it comes to fighting games.
Vaguely familiar, yeah.
Okay, so he decided to be an absolute menace last week, and I want to share this story because it's actually very fucking funny. So, he decided to purchase the Street Fighter Marvel vs. Capcom collection that released last week on PC. He then proceeded to make a name for himself by using the name Wazzler, and tons of people were posting things like I'm refunding the game because I keep getting beaten by this game called Wazzler, and all this other stuff, and they were actually like refunds and requests and shit put in because people were getting destroyed so hard online, until people finally found out, oh, it was Justin Wong the entire time. And he's doing a little social experiment. He decided to buy the PC version and see how long it would take him to make it all the way to number 1 on the charts. He did it in less than a day. And then PS5 player said, yeah, it's easy for you to beat those PC chumps, essentially. And he's like, all right, bet. So he bought the PS5 version. And he did the same thing in less than a day.
Well, good for him.
Hold on. It goes further. He bought the Wii. He bought the. Wow, I said Wii.
The Wii version?
Yeah, he bought the Wii version. No, he bought the Switch version. And he did the same thing in like 2 days. Mostly because it took him longer to get games on the Switch, but bro bodied everyone that purchased the game to make his way all the way to number 1 on the charts of every single version of the game that released. And it's really funny. I've seen a lot of the clips of people that ended up playing against him, and it's just so fucking funny seeing their reactions. And then you can see his videos showing his point of view, and it's fucking great. It's hilarious. So it's just like, it's really funny. If you like fighting games and whatnot, definitely look up Justin Wong and Wazzler. It is
very funny.
Hilarious.
That does sound very funny. Yeah, no, I would have gotten smoked if I was playing.
Oh, absolutely. I wish I owned the game because I would love to be beaten by him.
That is kind of. I figure they're probably all lurking around there, but probably just not always having the dedication to get themselves to number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get to number 1. I just want to fight Justin Wong and lose to him. That way I can be like, yeah, I played against him before. He kicked my ass, but I played against him before. That's kind of like a national treasure to be able to play against him.
What else? What else you got?
I don't really have anything like at all. Like I said, I played Astro Bot all week. I finished the whole game. Oh, by the way, it took me like 23 hours to 100% and get all the trophies.
That's a decent amount of time.
Yeah, I do think quite a few of those hours was just me dicking around and capturing footage and whatnot. So I would say, to be fair, it's closer to 15 15 hours because I also left it on at one point and like took a nap. So I think it's closer to 15 hours, but my game time says 23, which I still think is totally fine for the experience because those 15 hours of gameplay were all good. There was not any downtime where I was like, oh god, this sucks. I loved every single moment of it. So like I would much rather have a game, and I've talked about this before, that's like a good 15 hours continuously without any kind of moment where I'm like, oh god, I can't stand this part, as opposed to a game that's like 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, and I only like 10 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I understand. 100%.
Yeah, we talked about this in a earlier podcast episode this year, and I feel like this is another example of one of those games that doesn't take that long to finish, but it's all killer and no filler. So it's like awesome.
Yeah, it's good. That's what you like. Yeah,
Yep.
it's nice when you have game experiences that are like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else exciting to talk about. It sounds like the Switch stuff is gonna be announced soonish, from what the scurrying on the internet is. To what degree, I don't know. But it sounds like Nintendo had at least a rumor on the street. Sounds like they had some sort of presentation this week for maybe third-party devs, not big ones, smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so the speculation is that that's probably what they were talking about, which makes sense. Kind of prepping them before the thing. So, yeah. So I don't know. And we're also in that time of the month where we usually get a Nintendo Direct. So I feel like it's coming.
Supposedly, there's a PlayStation thing coming out also.
Yes, there's the State of Play.
Future.
I think it's supposed to be maybe next week.
Yeah, but we haven't gotten the actual concrete information. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Just
Sony
a lot of those people that say, "Oh, it's coming," every 3 days. They're saying, "Oh, it's coming." So
it's coming. This will be the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and who knows what even that will be about. I'm sure probably nothing terribly exciting either.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Honestly, no. I think I've said pretty much everything I want to say. Just play Astro Bot if you have the means to. It's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. It looks really nice too. That I've seen.
It does look very pretty. It's very good. I did see a really funny tweet that was hilarious. It's like, we got these games running our PS5s at 4K, 60 FPS with ray tracing, and it looks incredible. What have you guys got? And then there's just below it, community note, this game does not have ray tracing. That's all the fucking community note said. I just love when people say shit and they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, because they always look fucking stupid and they think they fucking owned everyone, and it's like, bro, you're dumb as hell.
I know. That's the internet. Always good for a nice switcheroo. I feel like I had maybe a funny kind of relevant story for that too, but I don't remember what it is right now. I feel like I just saw something almost exactly like that. Where someone posts something and then they just cell phone themselves in there. Anyways, ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Game-Crunch has all of our old episodes. Game-Crunch.com has all of our old episodes. And if you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at GameCrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
Hello.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I actually did just think of one other thing for news. Okay. I'm jumping back real quick.
Okay.
EA, in their infinite wisdom, stated in an earnings call today that, here it goes, their future is in the blockchain and with crypto.
Okay. R.I.P. EA. It was nice knowing you.
That is where gaming is heading, according to EA. And that is the future of video games, and people better get used to it.
Yeah, ask Square Enix and Sega all about it, because it's worked out tremendously well for them.
So yeah, I guess they woke up and thought it was 2021 still. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but they missed it by a few years.
Yeah, that boat has sailed and like very much sailed. Like
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's like these days everyone's like, yeah, that's stuff's all a scam. Stay away from it.
Well, not only that, but you saw the Flappy Bird thing recently, right?
Bits and pieces. I don't know the
Right.
full story.
So Flappy Bird was announced to be coming back in the future, very soon. The original game that people loved and got super addicted to and everything.
Yeah.
And people started looking into it and they're like, this seems fucking weird. That is what's going on here. So they started realizing that the person that was announcing the Flappy Bird thing was botting. They were using a bunch of bot accounts to like hype it up and everything. And
Sounds
then they
about right.
started realizing they were tied to NFTs. And then Flappy Bird started talking about Web3 and how there's going to be so many new Web3 features in the new Flappy Bird, so many new elements, with the game on the blockchain and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Then the original creator of Flappy Bird said, I never renewed my license for this game, and any person could have picked this up. I am not making this. I'm not the one that's making whatever this thing that is coming out in the near future is. It is a crypto scam, and I have nothing to do with it.
Oh, jeez.
And then people started looking further into it, and yeah, the new Flappy Bird that's coming out in like a few weeks is a crypto scam.
Very
that
fun.
was stolen from the original creator because he didn't want to renew his license because he said quite a while ago he hates that he made Flappy Bird. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he'd still, if he really wanted to do something about it, he would have some legal defense if he wanted to stop it.
So apparently the license was up for grabs and some crypto company bought it. That's all that happened. He has no pony in this show. There's nothing he can do about it.
Didn't he make it?
Yeah, he made it, but the licensing shit and everything, because of that, he can't do anything about it. And also, he's just like, I'm just going to warn people about it, essentially.
I guess that's what I'm confused about. What licensing?
So I think it's Creative Commons license or something like that, where like essentially any company can buy up something. Like, say for instance, the Steamboat Willie Walt Disney thing that happened, or the Winnie the Pooh thing that happened, where it went to like anyone can use the license, that sort of thing. Anyone can buy up the license and use it no matter what. It's no longer a public license. It's no longer a private license. It's anyone can buy it and then use it at their own discretion.
So he wasn't using his own things when he made it. He was using stuff that was free to use from the get-go.
No. I don't understand exactly how it works, but like with Disney and Winnie the Pooh, right? They let that license expire, and now anyone can take it.
But that's because of the copyright. Yeah, because the copyright expired.
So I'm guessing that's the same way this worked, because it has been like.
That's why I'm confused.
I don't know.
No, it's okay. You're not going to know the answer. I can explain kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it worked. Like, let me see if I can figure out the whole thing.
Because if you make something, there's like an assumed copyright on it. So unless he was using stuff that was like open source to begin with, I don't understand how someone could take the stuff that he created and build off of it, unless he either made it open source so people are like, open, like something that doesn't have any restrictions in terms of like sharing or kind of marketing, those kind of things. Or, either he sold his rights or something like that. Because inherently he should have some default copyright protection, even if he didn't apply for it. So.
Okay. So Dong Nigon, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his creative trademark expired after he abandoned it, and thus it went open source to anyone, so anyone could take it. A cryptocurrency Ponzi like company, essentially, like a company that's known for doing these kinds of things, snatched it up once they found out they could take it. Like once it was like, okay, it's ticked over, it's been fully abandoned now, no one has reclaimed the trademark for Flappy Bird, we're stealing it. And then that's what happened. Once that trademark hit, that's when this company stepped in and took it. And then the person came forward and was like, the original developer came forward and said, hey, I never renewed my license. I wanted to distance myself. My trademark. I wanted to distance myself from this game because of the addictive nature of it, and I felt like I was ruining people's lives by having created it. So I distanced myself by never re-upping my trademark, never doing anything, and completely abandoning the game in its entirety. That final trademark has rolled over now where anyone can buy up the trademark. This trademark has been bought up by a company named Game Tech Holdings, which is a company that is known for causing rug pulls in the cryptocurrency space. They are essentially a cryptocurrency Ponzi fraud scam team, and they have been doing this with other things. When their trademarks come up, they buy them up and then make something quickly and try to get a lot of money off of it from people that used to have a fondness of whatever this thing was. And they are now doing it with my original property. That's what happened.
Okay. No, that makes a lot more sense. Interestingly, I do think he probably still actually has a legal ground if he wanted to do something about it. But my guess is he's probably like, nope, too expensive, not be worth it. I'm like, it's just better off warning people not to do it. So, no, it is interesting. Did not know about all that. So, yeah, don't buy Flappy Birds. At least, well, any of them. I guess you can't get the old one and don't get the new one.
Nope, you cannot.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I guess that's that. My name is Mike Anastasia. Find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. Until next week, game on.
Game on.
Little toys on the shelf, collect them all, can't help myself. Figures dancing in line, bringing magic every time. Scan them in with the beat, adventure wakes from its sleep. In the game they come alive, add some flair on every drive. Amiibo, Amiibo, portal to the game you show. Amiibo, Amiibo, the rhythm of the play we know. Dressed in colors bright and bold, treasures that we love to hold. With a click the story's told, endless fun in worlds of gold. Heroes filling side by side, in the game they all collide. Each one has a tale to spin, place them down, let fun begin. Amiibo, Amiibo, bringing joy where we go. Amiibo, Amiibo, the rhythm of the play we know. Adventure wakes from its sleep. In the game they come alive, add some flair on every drive. Amiibo, Amiibo, portal to the game you show. Amiibo, Amiibo, the rhythm of the play we know. Dressed in colors bright and bold, treasures that we love to hold. With a click the story's told, endless fun in worlds of gold. Just in colors bright and bold, treasures that we love to hold. With a click the story's told, endless fun in worlds of gold. Yeah.
And that's it. That's the show.
All right.
Yeah.
It was a pretty quick one today, but I honestly was kind of, I got nothing for this week, honestly.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. So, yeah, totally. It happens. We don't have a ton of stuff to talk about every week. It's going to happen. So, not worried about it. I think it's good. I like short episodes as well.
Yep, I agree. I will be playing Plucky Squire later
Oh, yeah,
tonight,
that just came out
so-
today. I saw.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
the
So
notification for it.
I'll have more to talk about on next week because I'm like very excited for this game. I've been looking forward to it for like 4 years, to be honest.
I know. So it'll be pretty nice. Oh, what was it? There was a game that I just saw that just wasn't this one. I don't remember what it was. Oh, no. Lollipop Chainsaw. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The game is garbage, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, because we were just talking about it. I just remembered I was going to
They
I
got
was gonna
none
tell
of
you
the
something.
music.
Oh, did they? I didn't even look
None of
that
it.
far. I just thought the performance was so abysmal.
Performance is awful,
Yeah.
and they censored it, even though they said they didn't.
Oh, okay, even better.
So,
fuck that game.
yep.
And yeah, hopefully Shadows of the Dam is much better, because that what I read about for Lollipop Chainsaw was horrific. Like I can't even understand how they're like, yeah, let's greenlight this.
I know what happened, and it's very obvious, and I don't know why people keep doing it. I really do not know. I will never understand, I think. So,
part?
you ready for this?
Yeah.
The reason why the everything of Lollipop Chainsaw was bad is because they remade the entire game in Unreal Engine 5.
Okay. Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
Well, part
Why?
of it. Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because it's the newest and greatest technology, Brandon.
It's not. It's really not. Stop making games in Unreal Engine.
No, really, I agree. I feel like making games in Unreal Engine's very 2000s. Like we're
So
well past that.
you were right. It is the latest and greatest technology, but the problem is it's so latest and greatest that no one has figured out how to use it yet.
Yeah.
Not even the people that made the engine know how to use the engine. And I'm serious, because Fortnite is made by the Unreal Engine people, and Fortnite runs like dog shit at all times. I don't know. I think you may have seen the post that Nick said. He's like, "Hey, I got my new computer. Why does Fortnite run like ass?"
Oh, I do remember this.
Yeah, and it's just because that's Fortnite. Like that's just how it is. So I don't know, man. Unreal Engine, they gotta find some way to handle this shit, because if they're gonna be like the quintessential gaming engine, they gotta actually put forth some fucking effort.
Yeah. Well, right now they're too busy with Fortnite and suing everyone. So maybe once
Yeah.
they're done with that, then they'll have time to fix their engine. I know.
Never happening.
No, it is not.
Damn it, I forgot another piece of information, like another piece of news I just saw while scrolling through Twitter. Fuck. I'll tell you this. Yeah, Marathon, the game by Destiny, that is also going to be similar to a hero shooter, a lot like Concord, will be launching at $40! It's dead on arrival again! They learned fucking nothing!
Is that official, or is that... Because I did see that as a rumor a couple days ago.
The current rumor that is coming from Blungy, you know what? Yeah, Blungy employees is the price point they are aiming for. So it's a rumor, but it's a rumor coming from the actual employees. So like, you know.
So yeah, so they have a little bit more understanding. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. I mean, that game's been in development hell for a long time too, so I wouldn't expect a ton from it from the get go, anyways.
Yeah, I also just don't get it. Like, here's an example. Marathon. Marathon is one of Bungie's first games. Why are they touting out its dead corpse and and being like, all right, here we go?
Dude, I know exactly why. Because Sony has no IP, so they're like, oh, we got to use this IP that we spent $7 billion on.
Ignore the 200 we just saw that Sony clearly has, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
I know. Anyways,
how could Sony be so fucking stupid? Yeah, I'm gonna go too.
I know they are just completely mismanaged. Hopefully, they get someone in there that knows what they're doing, because clearly, what they're doing right now is not working, and it's just costing them millions on millions of dollars. And I feel like that's even underselling how much money they're just absolutely just wasting between their tech stuff that they've, like the hardware that they've been doing, these like just absolutely not even thought out game decisions that they've been greenlighting. Like they're really not in a good place stability wise.
They just aren't thinking things through. It's like they're not thinking about profit. They're not thinking about...
They're not thinking. You don't even need the rest of the sentence. They're just not thinking.
All right,
that's the problem. Honestly, I think out of the three, if Sony keeps making missteps like this, I actually think they might be the first of the three to fold. I cannot see how what they're doing is sustainable.
I actually think that with Microsoft going in on streaming and having a live service,
Mm-hmm.
that they would be second before Sony. So
Oh, really?
I mean, after Sony. That's what I meant to say. I agree with you, is what I'm saying. I actually think that Microsoft has dipped their toes into enough things that they would survive longer than Sony would at this point. And I think Sony is their own hubris is what's going to kill them. That is exactly what's going to happen.
100%.
I think this PS5 Pro price of $700 is so insane because, like, if you think about it, right? When in history has a Pro console been less money than the console that comes after it? The answer is it never has.
No, I
So
mean,
that
there's some other
means
factors though.
So you're telling me you think the PS6 will be $700 or less?
I think what I'm trying to say is I think that the Pro will probably have either be non-existent or will have a significant price drop before we get to a point where we're talking about PlayStation 6. That's what I think.
PlayStation 6 is currently rumored for 2028, which is fine.
Yeah.
But also, think of PS4 Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
For instance, when that console dropped at, I think it was $499 US. No, $399. $399 US. PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
PS5 came out, $499. Went up by $100. So at the very least, PS6 will be $799. That's what I'm calling right now. At the very least, you're already going to see an $800 console, and at that point, that's just insane.
They cannot. I don't think that will happen. I mean, I guess another way to look at it, though, is, the PS3 launched for a higher price than the PlayStation 4. So, it is definitely possible for them to step things back.
You're saying that, but the PS5 Pro is launching at a higher price with less things than the PS5 base.
Yeah. But the PlayStation 3 launched for $60, or sorry, $600.
$600, yeah.
So, and that was ludicrous at that time, but obviously they came back and they pulled those prices back. I mean, the PlayStation 4 Pro was $400. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I do agree. I feel like they're setting themselves up for failure for the PlayStation 6 if this is not rectified.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that this doesn't necessarily like force them to do it. I think that I hope.
I think with their ego that they will push harder, and I think the PS6 will be $1,000.
Oh Jesus! That would be dead on arrival. There's no way that.
I know, and I think that, and then that's what I was trying to get to. I think that's what will kill Sony.
I do not expect the PlayStation Pro to sell well enough to justify the price.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's going to put them in like a very tight financial spot. So, because I mean, think about all the hardware they've had failed. The handheld thing, the VR thing. Yeah, like they've had so many missteps. They spent $7 billion on Bungie that's gotten them like absolutely $0.
Nothing. And I think Bungie's currently in their worst draw of all time right now.
Oh yeah, they're in a horrible state. That company's gonna it's not sustainable where it is right now, which is why they started pulling things back. But most of their studios are. I mean, really, like they just I mean, look at their output; it's not there. And I was thinking about it this week actually too, just kind of kind of what Nick was saying about the the big three last week. Because I was thinking about other things that Nintendo has done to kind of set themselves apart from the other console makers. And I think one thing that we don't really give them a lot of credit for, because a lot of times we don't really appreciate it, is like Nintendo pretty consistently has a first party game, at least one every month.
Yep.
Like yeah, usually it's not always a trip. And that's the other thing too. Like
I think I have to ask, what was September's
for this month?
Yeah.
Zelda comes out next week. We were just talking about it.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
What was August?
Famicom Detective Club.
Oh, you're spitting facts.
Yeah, Nintendo, and that's what I was about to finish saying too. Is like the other thing that they do is like not all of their games are like AAA. Like they have a good diversity of stuff that they put out. They're between different genres and between different like quality levels and between different price points. So yeah, I mean they got their $60 games, but then they put out $30 games and $40 games and different things. So they really do a good job at kind of. It took them a while to get there when they merged the DS team and the the handheld team and the console team, but
yeah,
I mean they've gotten themselves to a point now where it's like, yeah, I mean, you can almost count on something each month. It might not be something for you, but there'll at least be something first party out there. So
okay, let's be honest.
Yeah,
Nintendo's issue is not, and I mean 100% is not their games. It's not.
Oh yeah.
Their output of games and the games they put out is quality, or at least good. Every single
always
month.
Been their strength. Yeah.
Yes.
Like going back.
Their issue is all of their business practices. Just all of them.
Like we were saying last week, there's some that are reasonable and there's some that are understandable and there's some that are not as defensible. But like kind of.
I will never forget the meme that I've read about Nintendo that made me laugh because it's so real. It's not even funny.
Which one?
The one about the kid that made a project of Mario, and he really wanted to get the attention of Miyamoto for his birthday, and so Reggie and Miyamoto flew out to visit the kid in person so they could give him a cease and desist letter to the child. Funniest shit I ever read. It's such a fucking great joke.
I mean,
it's so Nintendo, it hurts. It really is. And that's Nintendo's problem. Nintendo's problem is Nintendo. Be it underpowered hardware, just the absolute lack of getting with the times, for lack of a better word. They're very Japanese, and not in the good way. They're Japanese in the way that they probably still definitely use fax machines.
Probably. But on the other side, though, I mean, you're looking at it from the perspective of a gamer. Like, obviously, yeah, no one's arguing that the
correct.
Switch
I am looking at it from the perspective of a gamer because that's what I am. I don't work for them. I don't have stock in them. I don't give a shit about things unless it affects me.
But from their side of things, they're like, look, Switch is still selling like gangbusters. So why throw it out when you're making money hand over fist? Which you really can't argue with the logic. Like, it makes sense.
They were definitely going to throw the Switch out when the OLED came out, but they couldn't afford the chips. I'm convinced that was happening. When
I do think the OLED was supposed to be a pro system.
But it didn't.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that at all. Granted, hindsight, in terms of them for business perspective, probably not a bad thing.
No, I don't think so either.
But for gamers, yes, because obviously, it just kind of meant that we're still kind of behind the curve on that side. So, yeah, understandable. And their game performance has not been as great because of that. Anyways,
even with that in mind, I don't think they make bad games. I just think they make bad hardware. Yeah, I'm out too. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the new system is. So it's got to be unveiled soon. It's going to be exciting. Always exciting when new systems come out. New generational systems. I have to put that asterisk there because I could give two shits about the Pro. So
yep, same.